Hi, so I'm joined by Lewis Kemp, the CEO of LIGHTBULB Media and Manchester 30 Under 30. We're here to talk about social media and social media in a crisis. So thanks for coming on, Lewis.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I'm keen to make this conversation future-proof. So undoubtedly we'll talk about the current pandemic, but hopefully we can apply the principles for other user cases and a bit of longevity.
Yeah.
But my first question is about Manchester. You guys are crushing it at the minute.
Yeah.
What can other cities learn about kind of the community of digital in Manchester?
Manchester, honestly, it's like nowhere that I've ever experienced before because the community is so collaborative. No one's really kind of, stepping on each other to get to the top. Everyone kind of comes together, whether you need someone to be a sounding board or you're looking for someone kind of 10 steps ahead of you in digital to come and give you a little bit of advice. The digital and creative community is absolutely insane. And there's always someone out there to help you out if you just ask for the help. And obviously Manchester in itself as a city, obviously we have the best sports teams, we have the best music, and now it looks like we have the best digital and creative community as well. So we're proud to be from Manchester, to be fair.
Awesome. Moving on to social then. What advice are you giving business owners at the moment if they're dropping paid spend? I know we've just spoke about you're actually more clients are coming on board, if anything, at the moment. But if people want to kind of concentrate or organic or even paid, what advice are you giving at the moment?
I think a lot of people at the start just panicked and wanted to stop all spend completely, which was obviously we advise people not to do. Obviously, if your budgets are going to be affected, so by all means, scale down the paid spend, and dependent on what industry you're in, you might not be selling as much, and that's absolutely fine. But what we're advising people to do is allocate the spend to the right places. So what might have been a conversions-based campaign is now going to get moved over to a brand awareness or an engagement or a lead generation campaign, because a lot of people have been saying, oh, nobody's buying, and that's absolute and utter bullshit, because people are buying. They might not be handing over the money right now, but the buying process doesn't stop. And if you can get all those touch points over the next few weeks or months, when the floodgates do open again, you're going to be front of mind for your customers. You can't just go back into your shell, leave your customers to their own devices and expect to pop back up and get a lot of business, because there's going to be a huge gold rush when this ends. So unless you've got very deep pockets, then it's not what we'd advise doing.
100%. So what are you seeing the best brands do right now then?
I think a lot of the good brands are understanding their customers' situations. Obviously, we've seen what not to do with your Sports Directs and your Wetherspoons, and you've seen people kind of put an increase in charges and fees. But I saw in the news about Admiral the other day that they were just refunding customers £25 back. And it's not a massive amount for people, but it's a really kind of big gesture, which has probably secured them thousands of new customers and retained the ones they've got for a few years. So it's really worth it when you do that. You have to understand the situation that people have. The money's going to be tight and people are going to be nervous. So what you shouldn't be doing is just needlessly kind of business as usual, let's up the fees and up the prices without speaking to people like a human being.
Yeah, definitely. I think small gestures go a long way during a crisis. So the Admiral example is great, and I've had a lot of people share that with me already. So it's incredible how such a small gesture, I think it was £25. It really has gone a long way. Do you have any kind of other examples of people doing well, and anything that you're advising clients?
I really like Brewdog as a brand. They're absolutely phenomenal. Some of the content they put out and their customer engagement is massive anyway. But obviously they switched their production factory to start churning out hand sanitizer. And whilst they were doing that, they didn't just put out the PR message that, hey, this is what we're doing. They let people see behind the scenes of the business as well, because what a lot of brands have done is just done the corporate beige bullshit of always a message from the CEO saying how unprecedented it is and how these are strange times, when realistically, we all know that CEO doesn't give a shit about you. We want to see real people and get real messages from real brands. And that's the way to engage people with your business.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any difference between platforms, how you should be talking to clients, between, like, I'm guessing it's very different for like things like TikTok, but between Instagram and Facebook and things like that?
I think it definitely depends on what you're trying to sell and what kind of tone of voice you have anyway. But I do think right now is a massive opportunity for a lot of brands to switch that tone of voice up and be a lot more human, because people don't want to sit and have that corporate bollocks to read and listen to. They want to be informed, entertained, and educated now. So don't churn out the same rubbish that everyone else is doing. Do something a little bit different and try and generate an emotional response that isn't, oh, same old stuff again and again. Actually give them some form of value, whether it is a video, whether it is a new product launch, a bit of information, involving them in decisions. It's a really, really good time to do that now.
Great, fantastic. So on to some quick fire questions. We've mentioned quite a few already, some great brands, but what brands are inspiring you right now?
I think Guinness. I quite like Guinness. They're doing amazing things all the time. Their ads are always nailed, and the creative is so simple, but it resonates so well, and the amount of social shares that they get from such simple ideas are fantastic. I really like them. And I saw the Netflix campaign. I don't know if you saw it, where they were putting spoilers of all the series all over outside.
Yeah.
And I thought that was amazing. That was really good as well. So there's some really big brands doing really cool stuff, but a lot of the brands that you might not have heard of are the ones kind of at the end of your road, and the local community ones that have had to flip and pivot and start doing different things to get cash in, which I find them quite inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. So in social, we can use all sorts of tools and management systems. Is there any tools that you'd recommend for social media managers to be using right now?
Yeah, our top 3 tools. Obviously, Google Analytics is the Bible for data and understanding kind of customer journeys, what's working, what's not, where your audience are from, what they look like. So that's kind of standard. If you aren't using that, you shouldn't be in social media marketing, to be fair. Sprout Social is a tool that we use for social scheduling, but we also use it as a CRM, a social listening tool. We create reports on it. It's really kind of an all-in-one hub to understand everything that's going on social and have it in nice kind of pretty easy to read documents for clients as well as internal communications. And then a really important one, which I think is quite prevalent right now, we use answerthepublic.com.
Yes.
Which is essentially a search engine for people that don't know that when you type in a search query, it will pull up all the prepositions, the who's, the what's, the why's, the how's, to see what people are actually searching. Because right now, a lot of people are churning out content that they think people want to hear and read, or that they hope people want to hear and read. But actually, that'll tell you what people are actually searching for. So if you want to rank for that content, you can actually craft something that exactly matches the searcher's intent, which is absolutely huge.
Yeah. How on the social listening side, are you using that anyway to shape the tone of voice of what you recommend for brands? Because it's easy to get it wrong. As much as you can get this right now, if you get it wrong, it will go wrong big style as well. Is there any advice you've got around that?
Yeah, I think it's important to actually listen to people and get their feedback. Right now is a really, really opportune time for people when they're all sat at home and they're not busy. It doesn't take 3 or 4 goes to get hold of somebody, to actually put it out there and go, do you like what you see? And is there anything you want to see more of? Is there anything you're not liking? I saw something, I think it was Bloom and Wild, the flower company, where they sent it out, and it was for a Mother's Day campaign or something like that, where the customers could opt out of it in case, they were old and they'd lost their mother, so it was a sensitive thing. And yes, lots of people opted out of that, but the actual brand awareness of actually showing that you care about your audience, that's what was really important. So I think it's important to actually put the feelers out there now, get all that feedback, and you can be using this time to develop new products or new services or new styles ready to go when the floodgates open.
Yeah, 100%. Where would you point marketing professionals for further reading on either social or anything digital that you'd recommend, either books, podcasts, anything that you'd recommend for people to learn?
For marketers, obviously, you've got the cliche stuff like the Ogilvy on advertising and, how to win friends and influence people, just to understand the nature of how people respond and the behaviors that they have. Because, well, by and large, right now in this situation, like you say, it's never happened before. So a lot of that's thrown up in the air. So what I would say at the minute is, look, good marketing is setting up ads. That's a system. But I would focus always on copywriting, because that is what's going to make you stand out compared to your competitor. Good copy that tells stories is so much more important than anything else in marketing. So go away, get someone in, get a trainer, go on a course that teaches you how to create effective copy, because honestly, it will transform your business.
Great, that's fantastic. And anywhere you'd recommend to start with copywriting? Is there any resources that you found?
You can ask us if you want.
Yeah.
No, but there's plenty of people online that do great content marketing. So personally, from LinkedIn, just who I've seen, there's a lady called Jo Watson. I think she's got kind of resources that you can buy there, or courses. There's a guy called Dan Kelsall, another Manchester lad, who also does quite upfront and blunt content marketing that absolutely flies. And there's a lot of people that are just a bit scared of injecting a little bit of humour, but the proof's in the pudding, because all these people practice what they preach. The exposure, the engagement's there, and the business is there. So if you were scared of, kind of switching it up and trying something new, now's the time to actually do that and try that out without all the pressures of business being on you, because you've got a little bit of quiet time to try it and learn.
Awesome. So where should marketers be spending 80% of the time? I think it's going to be around copywriting, is it, and creativity?
I would say that, yeah. But I think for getting results for clients, paid social is absolutely flying right now, because what a lot of businesses have done, like I said, it panicked and it just come off it altogether. So there's a complete lack of competition there. And personally, for the campaigns that we're running, a lot of our clients have literally just had the best month on record, because the ad distribution costs are so low now. And particularly in areas like engagement campaigns, messenger campaigns, where you can actually speak to a real human being, lead generation, we're getting some of the best results we've seen in like 10 years. Simply because the other competition isn't there. So if you've got the time to actually be active and you're willing to speak to your customers, you should really be running those campaigns for your clients now.
Definitely. I think what I've seen personally from managing PPC accounts is, if you're a business that was thinking about turning off, I think a lot of other businesses probably in your sector are also thinking the same. So it's actually meant CPCs are going down in search. So that's an interesting takeaway. Bit of a fun one. If you could place an ad anywhere in the world with any message on it right now, what would it be?
Oh, mate. I think one that's pretty needed right now. I'd probably fly a massive billboard over America saying, "Don't fucking drink bleach." You drink away, mate. Like, ridiculous that's even a thing. But yeah, I think that's the most needed ad right now.
Awesome. Where can people find you, and have you got any requests of the audience?
Yeah, they can find us online. So lightbulbmedia.co.uk is the website. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll have a little nosy about what we're doing. We've got the company page on there as well. The advice I would say to people is stay present. But obviously, if you haven't got a lot of budget and you are going to have to do all this stuff yourself, all the posting, the social media efforts, don't just go into it blind. Go and get the training first, because like you say, good social media marketing can transform your business, but bad social media marketing can absolutely destroy it. So do your due diligence, get a few different providers on, find one that clicks with your business and that understands you, and then go at it yourself. But whatever you do, just don't disappear. You don't want to be that business that completely forgets about the customers during this time. Yeah,
fantastic. And one final question to end. What will make you excellent in a kind of single sentence to round up what we've learned today?
I would probably just say be human. People don't want to hear the corporate jargon and bullshit. Speak to people as if you'd speak to your mate down the pub, because people really do appreciate it. Take out all the stuff that the corporates tell you to do about, it doesn't make you sound more professional. People want to feel an emotional connection to brands now, so be as human as possible. Perfect. All right, thank you very much, Lewis. Was there anything else you'd like to add before we shoot off? No worries, mate. No, it's all good from me. All right, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on the podcast. You're welcome. Thanks for having me.